My friend, imagine carrying a giant stone on your back every single day, a stone so heavy it turns every sunrise into darkness, every spark of hope into exhaustion, and every dream you once cherished into dust. That stone is hatred. And today, I want to share with you the powerful journey of a young American craftsman named Ethan Carter, a man who discovered one truth that can change any life. Forgiveness is not letting someone else off the hook. It's freeing yourself. That's why I want you to stay with me, because this story might just be the turning point you've been searching for. Ethan lived in the peaceful valley of Windcrest, a small American town surrounded by rolling hills and golden fields. In that quiet place, he worked as a craftsman, not just any craftsman, but an artist whose hands could transform raw wood into breathtaking pieces of beauty. His workshop was his sanctuary, his pride, and the physical proof of a dream he had spent years nurturing. But one betrayal shattered all of it in a single night. His business partner, someone he trusted like a brother, Mark Dawson, stole Ethan's designs, stole his biggest clients, and spread vicious lies that destroyed his credibility overnight. Ethan lost his shop, he lost his income, he lost the trust he had placed in people, and eventually, he lost himself. Every morning, he woke up with a burning knot of anger in his chest. Every night, revenge was the only thing that kept him awake. He wasn't living anymore. He was barely surviving, drowning in bitterness while pretending everything was fine. People around him didn't see the war happening inside, but Ethan was shackled by a pair of invisible handcuffs, handcuffs forged from hatred and fueled by betrayal. And my friend, when hatred becomes your identity, you stop being free. Eventually, the pain became unbearable, and Ethan, carrying his heavy, invisible burden, walked miles toward the mountains to seek out Master Alden Brooks, a wise old man known throughout the region as someone who had survived unimaginable losses, yet found a way to live in peace. When Ethan arrived, exhausted and trembling, he didn't even have to speak. The master looked at him with calm, knowing eyes and said, "You've come looking for an answer, haven't you?" Ethan collapsed to his knees and cried out, "Master, someone destroyed me. They took everything. I don't want comfort, I want revenge. Tell me how to hurt him the way he hurt me." The master didn't lecture him, didn't judge him. Instead, he walked inside his small wooden home and returned with two stones, a heavy, jagged stone for Ethan and a smooth, light stone for himself. "Come," the master said, "walk with me." Ethan struggled. Within minutes, his arms were burning. Within 10 minutes, his entire body screamed in pain. "Master, I can't carry this anymore," he shouted. The old man calmly set down his small stone and looked deeply into Ethan's eyes. "Ethan, what you're carrying is hatred. It doesn't hurt the person who wronged you. It destroys you. You think revenge is power, but revenge is just a burden that keeps you from moving forward." My friend, this is where most people get stuck. They think holding on makes them strong. But in reality, letting go is the real strength. Trembling, Ethan whispered, "But Master..." Master Brooks smiled gently and replied, "Strength is not in what the world sees. Strength is the choice you make when no one is watching." Then the old master guided him to a small garden where two young trees grew side by side. One tree is hatred. Every time you think of revenge, you water it. The other tree is hope. Every time you dream, you water it. And Ethan, the tree you feed is the tree that grows. At that moment, Ethan realized he had been feeding the wrong tree. He had poured more energy into fueling his pain than rebuilding his life, and that realization hit him harder than any betrayal ever could. Seeing Ethan's eyes clear for the first time, Master Brooks gave him 3 missions that, if completed, would rebuild his heart from the inside out. The first mission, create your greatest masterpiece. Not to prove anything to the world, but to prove to yourself that your gift cannot be stolen. The second mission, help 3 strangers who can never repay you, not for gratitude, but to transform your anger into compassion. And the third mission, write a letter to the man who hurt you. Pour into it every wound, every ounce of pain. Then burn it not to erase the past, but to free your future. Ethan returned home and began working on the first mission. He chose a rare and beautiful piece of wood and began crafting the most magnificent ceremonial carriage the Windcrest Temple had ever seen. Every strike of the chisel was a battle against bitterness. Every curve he shaped pulled him further away from hatred and closer to the man he used to be. And day by day, Ethan reclaimed himself. When he finally unveiled the masterpiece, the villagers were speechless. His talent spoke louder than any rumor ever could. His reputation rebuilt itself not through revenge, but through excellence. Next, Ethan dedicated himself to the second mission. He repaired the leaking roof of a struggling widow. He built handmade toys for orphans who had nothing to play with. He taught a homeless teenager how to work with wood so he could earn a living of his own. And with every act of kindness, the chains of hatred inside him weakened. He felt lighter, stronger, wiser. Finally came the third mission. Ethan sat down and wrote a letter to Mark Dawson, the partner who had shattered his life. He wrote down every wound, every betrayal, every emotion he had buried for so long. And while writing, he cried not from pain, but from healing. When he burned the letter, watching the flames swallow every last word, he felt the weight he had carried for years lift from his soul. Days later, Ethan met Mark in the marketplace. Mark looked nervous, frightened, because guilty people live in constant fear of the consequences they believe are coming for them. "Are you not going to do anything?" Mark asked, voice shaking. Ethan looked at him not with rage, not with hatred, but with calm strength. "You kept my dignity," he said, "but you cannot take my talent. You cannot take my dignity. And you cannot take my heart. I'm done carrying the burden you gave me. I choose my path. I choose peace." And without another word, Ethan walked away for the first time in his life, truly free. My friend, forgiveness is not a gift to your enemy. It is freedom for you. Revenge might feel powerful for a moment, but growth, healing, rebuilding, that is the ultimate victory. The best revenge is becoming so strong, so successful, so peaceful, that nothing from your past can touch you again. Forgiveness cuts the anchor that keeps you tied to pain, so your soul can finally sail toward the future you deserve. If Ethan's story touched your heart, if it reminded you of your own battles, then hit subscribe, drop a like, and share your thoughts in the comments, because together, we are building a community of warriors who choose growth over bitterness, purpose over pain, and freedom over revenge.